Hello and welcome to my nice simple tutorial for how to make some cute ghosts for your Christmas tree. This is a great way to revamp any baubles that you've lost a bit of love for, just store-bought baubles, and make something cute and creepy which you can put up Christmas or Halloween. I mean, Christmas is all about ghosts really, just ask Charles Dickens. These ghosts are going to be going on the Christmas tree in my art studio, which I'll be putting up the first week of December. All you will need to make the ghosts is some PVA glue, a cup of water, some store-bought baubles or baubles that you've got lying around, some cheesecloth, some blue card, some scissors and a hole punch. I've also made this hanging contraption out of wire, drawing pins and 2 easels just to hang the ghosts on to dry, but you might come up with a better solution. So firstly, you're going to want to pour your glue into your water. You just want it so that when you mix it, it gets to a sort of translucent, milky consistency. I measure it by eye, so there's not really measurements, but the more glue that you put in, the stiffer your ghosts will be at the end of it. So I've cut my cheesecloth into little squares. The size of the squares will depend on the size of your bauble, but if you just drape it over the top of your bauble and see if that's the finished size that you'd like your ghost to be, then that's the right size. So that's a good way to gauge it. I'm finding the middle of the square and I'm just bunching it up and cutting a little snip in. And this is to make a hole so that the hanging part of the bauble can go through it. The next thing is to dip it in the glue and water solution. Once you've done this, wring it out because it'll be quite wet, and then you just need to unfold it. It's obviously quite wet and sticky. Unfold it so it's a square again. So you can see in the middle now that we've got the hole, which is where the bauble will hang through. And now we're just going to drape the fabric onto the bauble. Once it's on, you're just going to want to shape this layer so that it's the right shape that you want, because this is going to be the stiff underlayer that forms the shape of your ghost. I'm going to be making 9 ghosts today, and each ghost is going to have 2 layers of fabric, a wet layer and a dry layer. So that means that I need 18 squares of cheesecloth. Once I've put the first layer on, I'm just going to hang it on here to dry and then give it a reshape while it's up. There's no science to this really, just however you think it looks nicest. The second layer that goes on top is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a dry layer. What we will do is cut another square out again like we did with the first one, cut a little nib in again like we did with the first one, but for the second layer we won't dip it, we'll put it on dry. What I'm doing first though is I'm going to do a few bottom layers at a time, and then I will go back over them and put the second dry layers on. And the reason that we do a wet layer and a dry layer is that the wet layer gives it the shape so it dries, and it dries stiffly, but that's a bit heavy and the movement maybe isn't quite as natural and as floaty as you might want a fabric ghost to be. So the second layer has got that. It will be lighter, it will be floatier because it's drier, but if you put it on while the first layer is still wet, it will stick to it, and it will stick to that cheesecloth layer, which sticks to the bauble in turn, and it will take on the form and structure of that first layer, but with a bit more floatiness. So these ghosts here have got the 2 layers on, so you can see they're a bit softer looking, they're a bit more floaty. These are going to be the faces. The circles are for the eyes, and I just made them with hole punches. So I just hole punched the card for the face, and then I cut the mouths out. So we're just going to glue these onto the ghosts here. I've done some different mouths and different eyes just to play with it a little bit. I think if you're going to hand make something, it's nice to make everything a little bit different. So they've all got different little expressions. And there are your ghosts. They'll be ready to hang once they dry. You just put a bit of string onto the metal bits where they hang, or just hang them on from the metal if you want. I hope that you've enjoyed this little video today. It's quite a quick task to do. It's quite easy, and it's a good way to put some sort of cute and spooky life into some baubles that you might not love anymore. I will share the finished results on my Christmas tree up in my studio when it is ready. I'll put that on my Instagram and go over there and have a look. If you do make these ghosts, then if you do pop your pictures on Instagram as well, tag me so I can see them, because that would be amazing. I would love to see them. So my handle is @thisisshawnellis, and it would be great to see them. All right, have a wonderful and spooky Christmas time. Thank you. Bye.